By a hand grinder, they said. They are cheaper, they said. So, generally, for hand grinders, you're supposed to be saving money um, because you're not paying for the motor. You are the motor. Which is generally true, but this is probably the most expensive hand grinder, and it's more a work of art. So I guess you're paying a little extra for that. Um, yeah, right now it's not. This isn't where I'm actually using it because the handle um, would hit the puck press that's behind there. So that's one downside versus the Weber key. This is the I forgot to mention. This is the Weber HG-2, which was based on the HG-1, which used to be when Weber and Craig Lynn were kind of together as one company, and now there's similarly the HG-1 Prime, which is by Craig Lynn, and there's still the HG-1, which I think both companies sell. Maybe they don't sell them anymore. And then there's the HG-2, which is the updated one. So this is kind of neat, but I don't know how useful this is, so kind of have to rotate the handle back here in order to get it to go into gear, which is a little annoying, but so there's two gears. I don't know really how useful it is because I just keep it in first gear. Wait, I think that's the easy mode. Yeah, I'm not sure. Why would it be one? I thought that would be two, but never really looked at it. So that should be the easy mode where you spin the handle and it basically spins. Actually, yeah, that might make sense. So it's in first gear, just like a car. You rotate the lever more and this actually spins less, which makes it easier to get momentum and crush the beans. So if you're doing a light roast for espresso, which is what I often do, those beans are a lot more dense and it's hard to crush. So this makes it easier because you have a gearing system where you don't have to turn it. If it was at 2, which is how I think HG-1, like the original version was, it basically is one rotation as you're rotating the handle. Every rotation equals a rotation on the Burrs. So it's 1-to-1, there's no reduced gear where it makes it half the amount of energy, half the speed as well. So yeah, I found it was tough to grind for espresso for like a really light roast. Even with the higher gear, it's still pretty tricky. So I would just leave it on that gear, and if it takes a little more revolutions for like a darker roast as well, or grinds a little slower, it's still relatively fast. Especially if you're grinding coarse, it's like I don't think you really need the gear. So the Craig Lynn HG-1 Prime, the latest version of his, that one has I believe it's a 2.5-to-1 ratio instead of a 2-to-1 ratio for the gear, and he doesn't have the switch. It's just the one gear ratio that's always set. So that should make it even easier to turn with the expense of maybe turning it more, which I don't think is a big deal. I think it's probably a good trade-off if you are planning on doing light roasts. The only difference is these burrs. I haven't cleaned this out, but yeah. So these burrs are the HG-2 and key. They both share the same. They're Mazzer burrs, but they have a special coating and process, supposedly pre-seasoning, that Weber has done to them. And I don't know if it's the coating or the seasoning, but it's hard to do on video. Usually easily align it. Yeah. So so they did some kind of treatment to it, and I haven't tried the uncoated burrs to compare, but from what I've heard, it sounds. I could just be perpetuating this myth that I keep repeating because, I don't know. Hopefully it's true, or. Yeah, but I'm not saying it's true for sure because I haven't experienced it myself. I haven't tried the original burrs that don't have the coating. But from what I've heard, those ones should produce more body and less flavor clarity. Because on both these grinders, which use the same burrs, I found it is very flat-like in a way. Like it has pretty good clarity. I'd say it is on par with the Monolith. Yeah, it's on par with the Monolith. This is the Monolith flat with Shuriken LM Burrs. And it's not like the highest clarity grinder, but it's they both kind of make good tasty results with pretty good clarity, so you don't feel like you're missing anything with a light roast really. Although I do miss the unimodal burrs in my Lagome P64, which I might be getting again eventually. Yeah, we have the same burrs in both of these. So having this guy, the motor's a little noisy, which I don't love because it's, it's a nice grinder. It could be really quiet when you grind coffee. It is actually, most conical burrs like or slow RPM grinders like these, they should be quiet. So it's kind of a shame they put a loud motor or bearings or whatever it is that's causing the noise. Yeah, they could have made it quieter. The Lagome P64, totally different grinder, flat burr, single doser. You probably know it. But that one, when there's no coffee in it, it's super quiet. The motor is just smooth and nice and seems, it gives it a higher quality vibe, just because it's quiet. It is louder when you're grinding on the P64 because I don't know why. I guess higher RPM and just different design. I find with the P64, when I put a lid on top of it, like a little cover, that kind of isolated a little bit of the noise. Similar to what happens on this. If you have the bellows on, it actually quiets it down because the noise kind of comes up from the grinding chamber and this just muffles it. So tip, if you have a grinder without a top, without a lid on it, get a little rubber bellows or a 3D printed lid or whatever. That might quiet it down just a little bit. It makes a little bit of a difference, but it's nice. Not like a huge difference. So why do I have two of these? Yeah, it's kind of redundant because they both should be basically the same. The benefit of this is you have a motor, so you don't have to turn it. It actually takes up less space. Right now it's kind of tilted on an angle so that I can get easier access to the RPM knob. My espresso machine's right there, so a little tight. Yeah, it does take up less space because this one, I can't use it here because the handle will hit the puck press. It's gonna go on it does go on its own. It goes on its own little table elsewhere. And it needs a good stable surface, otherwise your whole table is gonna shake around when you're actually using it. I find it does kind of want to hop up, so what I do is I put my weight. This is a stationary handle, is just for holding it, and then this one spins around. You can see that handle, that's the one that moves. So I put my weight a little bit on this and kind of push it down while I'm grinding if it's like a light roast that requires more force. Otherwise it will kind of hop around a little sometimes. So I find that made it easier. But at low RPM they should be the same. The only difference is this is a consistent RPM. So here's how quiet it gets on the lowest RPM. Not bad. And then medium it's a good speed. I mean, it'll grind relatively fast, and it should be faster than grinding on this. So this takes about 25 seconds, I found, for like a light roast as espresso. It's faster with darker roasts or coarser, or if you want to go turbo, you could probably do it faster. I try and do it just a consistent, steady speed. So, fast, efficient, and steady. And when I tried like one of the lower RPMs trying to match this guy, I've consistently, pretty much always consistently, the HG-2, this guy, the hand grinder, seems to give better results. Like for a straight shot, it's smoother. It's just easier drinking. The person I got this from said he seasoned the Burrs on this one, so I suspect it could be from seasoning. I don't see any like obvious alignment issues or anything. I mean, if you look closely, you can see the burrs kind of, there's a little bit of movement, but I think that's just because it's open. It's so obvious to, you could see like the micron of movement in the burrs as it's rotating. Yeah, it's gonna be hard to show you on this video, but I have another video where it's, you know, shining a light and trying to look at the burrs for wobble on both of these. You can check that out if maybe I'll link it. But yeah, the HG-2 is smoother. I mean, I've had the key for a little while, but I never really intentionally seasoned it. I think it did get a little more consistent and better after like the first 2 pounds, maybe, I don't know how much, but I put a little coffee through it just from using it mostly. I may have, maybe, I can't remember. I might have put like a couple pounds through to season it of like old beans, but and I thought it got a little better. But compared to the HG-2, which my buddy said he put a lot of coffee through, which would be a pain in the butt because it's a hand grinder, it's just always smoother. So they are very similar taste profiles, and if you're doing a milk drink or a dark roast where like you want it to be a little stronger with a milk drink, the key sometimes will be better with milk. Haven't tested that too much actually, but comparing them straight, HG-2 always nice and smooth, and even when things don't flow right, like the grind size was too coarse or too fine, the HG-2, even if it channels, it's always just really smooth and good tasty results. Could be that these burrs are not extracting, you know, the TDS or whatever might not be as high as some flat burr grinders, but I don't know, it's just been, it makes everything taste nice. The monolith I used to think did that as well, but lately I've been getting better results on these guys, or at least the HG-2, but I don't know, maybe something's up with my monolith. Yeah, I don't know, I'll experiment more, maybe dial in coffee really well and see, because it could be just, you know, conicals are generally more forgiving, so could be that. I just need to dial in the monolith better, and then these guys can mess around, get the settings wrong, and it's still pretty good. So I like them. I don't like the company Weber so much, like the customer response. I hear bad things about that, and kind of get you know, kind of an attitude from them. Also as a brand, they kind of, you know, they're kind of like high-end snobby kind of. So that's my personal opinion. The grinders though, they're good. So yeah, a lot of the hate, the key gets a lot of hate. So it was their first kind of more mass-produced grinder, and I think they did have some issues with some of them, and they probably could have handled that better. But mine has been pretty good. Besides the noise, I think some of them are quieter. I don't know if anyone knows, but that's the option O from the logo P64 logo on mine. I added that. They do popcorn, so like it's a shame this guy doesn't come with one of these because I keep having to swap it. I mean, it's not a huge issue, especially at lower RPM, you get less popcorning, but I've still seen fragments, or yeah, mostly fragments, I think, popping out of this guy. And this thing doesn't even solve the solution 100%. A lot of times they'll just hop out of this this open part, but it's like 75% covered. Still, they find a way. They want to escape. Yeah, so I'm curious, if I keep using the Weber key, is it going to end up being as smooth and good as the HG-2 is for straight espresso shots? I'm hoping it will be, but I don't know. Could be if the alignment is off, that could be affecting it. They're both really good. Like, I was totally happy with the Weber keys results, and I was impressed. Just when comparing directly with this guy, I noticed it was just that much better, smoother. So yeah, interesting. I don't think many people have compared both of them side by side. Uh, yeah, I wish I haven't really kept track of like how many coffees I put through here. I've had it for a little while. Just got the HG-2 recently, but it was my friend's. So it's been seasoned a bit. Which one is more pretty? I don't know. I like the silver. Thought I liked black better, but I don't know. Maybe I just missed my silver P64. The way it reflects light is kind of nice. Yeah, has a nice the aluminum, the anodized aluminum. It has a neat look to it, which it's kind of dark in here, but yeah, it doesn't quite do it with black. So yeah, I think I like silver. Usually I do prefer my things in black, but silver, anodized silver is nice. Oh, just like my tamp stand there.